What's up, y'all? So, I want to talk about the real reason why the Love and Hip Hop Miami is having such a difficult time to keep the ratings going. All right, so I wrote this post on a Facebook page. So, if y'all run across it after hearing this video, whomever may hear it, then hey. So, I knew Bobby Lights and Prince from school, but to be honest, their story was not and isn't the real representation of the real Miami lifestyle. But shouts out to them, for getting on TV and for making parts of their dreams or their dreams, coming to fruition. Um, so the reality is that Miami doesn't have a big Anglo-Saxon white culture as Georgia or certain parts of Florida does. Down south Miami, like Miami, or sorry, down south Florida, like Miami and Broward, doesn't really have a large Caucasian Anglo-Saxon non-Spanish speaking population. Now you do have a few Jews, but I mean, because black people in Miami are so accustomed to Hispanics, for a lot of us, we assume that when we see a white person, they speak Spanish until they let us know otherwise. And for me, I know I can tell when a person is just white or if a person is Hispanic. That's how little interaction Miami has with just the Anglo-Saxon, European, Caucasian individual. And this is not to say that there are not white people in Miami that don't speak Spanish or, that's just Southern or whatever the case may be. But a lot of the times they're rare. You do have Jews, I'm assuming, in Miami, Jewish people in Miami. But, for the most part, you have different cultures of black people like Haitian, Jamaican, Black American, some Dominican, some Black Cubans. And then you have a white population that is usually that of a foreigner, which may be Cuban, a few Puerto Ricans that came from New York or whatever the case may be. And then you have some Dominicans. You literally have Little Havana, Little Dominican Republic, and Little Haiti all on American soil in Miami. So a lot of people like to visit Miami because it is so culturally diverse, and it's almost like being in a different country, to be honest with you, to a lot of people. So if you've noticed, there weren't a lot of Miami artists that were put in the mainstream media after Trick Daddy and Trina, and it took them a long time to get the City Girls. And the thing about a lot of black people in Miami, because we don't deal with certain levels of white supremacy, because there is levels to it, but because we don't deal or interact with white Anglo-Saxon people on a regular basis, our personality is a little bit more bold and outspoken. And I'll give you an example. Trina, of course, in your face, bold, outspoken. Trick Daddy, in your face, bold, outspoken. We're it's a different culture down there. We're used to a lot of Caribbeans and a lot of foreigners and, you know, those types of individuals. So the southern racism that is experienced in Tallahassee or, further North Florida and Georgia, we don't really experience that down there in Miami. And people know that because again, it's just not a lot of white people in Miami. So, people were trying to figure out how they could go ahead and get some more Miami artists. People think that, oh, Miami artists just don't stick together. A lot of white music industry executives just don't know how to market people from Miami because it's so loud and so boisterous. And people may say, well, what about New York? New York had a very large Italian population. So the black people in New York, especially in the 90s, the black rappers really promoted that whole mafia, type mentality. They really, really promoted that. Um, and so they came up with the City Girls. I mean, Rick Ross, we know he's from Miami, but he didn't really promote the Miami lifestyle. He was very diverse with his image. And so now they got the City Girls, and they make sure that the City Girls stay on this ratchet hood shit, which makes people comfortable because they don't want to see black people, you know, against white supremacy. They don't want to see black people, I'll say, too boisterous. But if we are going to be boisterous, which Miami is known for, at least talk about some pussy, some ass, and shit like that. So they cool with the city girls. But the thing with Love and Hip Hop Miami is the producers were afraid to use Miami because there isn't much of a real Caucasian culture in Dade County. So initially, production didn't know how to cast or train such a diverse group of people. They wanted Trina because they figured that she had experience with the white world due to her industry connections, i.e. the Kardashians, etc. So white people don't really exist in Miami as far as culturally. There's not a big white culture in Miami. People might say, well, what is a white culture? There's a white culture in Georgia. The Klan, the Bible Belt, the whole Southern stay in your place boy type of thing. Oh yeah, that exists, but it don't really exist like that in Dade County. So because white people don't really exist in Miami as far as culturally as they do in Atlanta, New York, the producers didn't really know how to deal with that type of situation. So by the producers trying to find a way to whitewash the cast for their comfort, they messed up the Miami season. Not the cast members. They didn't mess it up. So that is the reason why they pushed Amada so hard, because she was black, but not so-called black Miami American. She was on that Latina shit, which made the white producers comfortable. Because keep in mind, black drama sells on all Love and Hip Hop franchises, and Amada is ethnically black. And I know that black is a color, but I'm not trying to go too deep with that. So again, that's why they pushed Amada so hard. It's crazy, but that's how it is. So black drama sells on Love and Hip Hop, on all of the Love and Hip Hop franchises, but they were afraid that the real black Miamians would show cultural dominance, even the Hispanics. Now, keep in mind, you got to understand that Miami is a tourist area, and a lot of the people that people assume have money to tour are usually white people. So in certain cases, they want to make sure that they make their white travelers feel comfortable to still even want to go to Miami. If they feel like black people that's hood got enough money to go to the beaches and go to certain places and spaces that white tourists can go to, that might stop their money, or at least that's how they feel. Again, it's very similar to the situation with Meek Mills and the hotel. It's not about the few handfuls of people, black people, that have enough money to go there. It's about the overall white masses of people that they know for a fact, due to being able to have and sustain jobs because of their race, they're the ones that's going to have the money to keep this going. A television show is not going to keep white tourists coming to Miami. It's just not. So that was some racial shit on their behalf. So again, black drama sells on Love and Hip Hop franchises, but like I said, they were afraid that the real black Miamians would show cultural dominance, as well as the Hispanics. That is why the producers helped to stir the beef with Amara, who is Dominican, Jesse Wu, who is Haitian, and Veronica, who is a white Cuban. See, now, again, those are the races of people in that environment that dominate. Again, white Anglo-Saxons do not dominate culturally as far as Miami. Now, I know that some people are going to say, white people own the buildings. White people, the Jews own the hotels and the restaurants. True enough, that may be the truth. But when you get off South Beach, and even depending on, what time around you're on South Beach, it's predominantly Cuban. Okay, Memorial Weekend is predominant. It's a lot of black folks. But once you step your ass up out of off South Beach and you cross that bridge, you ain't gonna be seeing no white folks just willy-nilly just walking around throughout Dade County and Little Haiti and Little Havana and Little Dominican Republic. That's just not common. So you go on South Beach, or you go to that little art area. Damn, I can't even remember the name right now. I think it starts with an M. But you're going to see, you will see some white tourists. But I mean, again, The tourist part is to attract the people that they feel have the money. And because Trick Daddy and Trina and the production company has the money to let these Cubans that represent that shit on the beach, they let these Haitians, these Dominicans, these Black Americans that represent their culture and Miami on the beach, they like, at least try to make these people appear to be Europeanized or whitewashed. Okay? So now, like I said, all of these people represent Miami, but none of them, including Veronica Vega, she is not stereotypically Anglo-Saxon Caucasian. Although she is Caucasian white, she represents her Cuban heritage. And anybody knows white people are very racist to anybody who speaks another language other than Italian. So if you're like a Hispanic, you know what I'm saying, and you represent that shit a little bit too much, they'll make you feel some type of way, even if your skin is as white as theirs. You know what I'm saying? So you have a lot of people who are Hispanic, and when they get around white people, they want it to be known that they're Spaniard. They come from Spain, so they were white slave owners. But I mean, until you get into that breakdown, white people see anybody who is, I would say, a foreigner, um, in a Spanish place, just based on what I've seen from Miami, you're treated differently. You're not, they might exoticize you, but you're treated differently to a certain extent, even if you are a so-called white Cuban. So, again, they had to show that cultural divide. They had to show these different cultures of people, the Haitian, the Dominican, the Cuban. They had to show them fighting. You know what I'm saying? If you notice, they didn't have um, two Cuban girls fighting with each other. They didn't have two Dominican girls fighting with each other. They didn't have two Black Americans fighting with each other like that. You know what I'm saying? So they made sure that if they were going to show these different cultures, that the motherfuckers was fighting. There was no unison or unity. And I believe that it was easy to get Amada and Veronica Vega fighting because although they are ethnic, or their nationality is that of a so-called Hispanic, or they're culturally Hispanic, I should say. They're different ethnicities. Amada is so-called African American, and Veronica Vega is a Caucasian European. So that's the reason why I think that it was just easy for them to go at each other. And then I noticed that when Amada and Jessie Woo was going at each other, Amada seemed to be going really hard at Jessie Woo, and I think that is because there is such a divide between Dominicans and Haitians. And although Amada La Negra talked about colorism being an issue for her in the Dominican or the Hispanic world, it seemed as though she kind of tooted her nose up at Jessie Woo because Jessie Woo is Haitian and she's Dominican, and although they're both dark skinned and pretty much the same people as far as culturally, she still felt she had an advantage. So I saw that bullshit from a mile away. So again, producers needed to show that racial division in a culturally diverse city like Miami to make Southern and Northern whites comfortable to keep visiting. So it was basically all about showing whitewashing, which is why they had to act extremely fucking bougie. And it was about cultural division. Again, it's so much cultural diversity in Miami that if they show, any type of realness, to a degree, it may show a sense of unity. It wasn't like how you have in New York or Atlanta, it's just black. It's just white. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't need to intentionally show a cultural division. They just had motherfuckers just going at each other. But they intentionally made sure to show the people that were fighting, there was a cultural division amongst them. There was a racial division amongst them because, again, Miami is so culturally diverse. And in order to keep white Southerners and white Northerners, the ones that's getting the bag for real, enough to really travel on occasion, in order to keep these people comfortable, they have to show that not only are these people trying to act like white people and, they're not, It's just not about, oh, we're not down here, so we can't be seen. You know, not only are they trying to act white, but they're also trying to be like us. Or not only trying to be like us, but they're also, against each other. I remember I was in Augusta, Georgia, and I was getting a car. I was getting my car fixed. And this white guy, country white boy, there was a whole bunch of white people around. And one thing that I will say before I get to say what I was going to say, when white people find out that a black person is from Miami, especially when you're in Georgia, it's like they just get elated, and all of the extreme racism that they may have or may want to project on you, they pull back because they know that you are not accustomed to that. And so they want to show their good-natured side. They don't want you to see them for who they are, and they see you as more cultured, which is crazy, and it goes to show you how wicked some of these motherfuckers are. But anyway, when I was at the car dealership and guy asked me questions about Miami, and I was like, yeah, it's a lot of different races down there, cultural differences. It's Haitians, Dominicans, Cubans, Black Americans, Jamaicans. And the first thing that came out of his mouth, which is what he was hoping to hear, not that he believed it, was that, and I bet you it's a lot of fighting down there, huh? So this is how white people think. Not that he really believed it, but he wanted to hear that there was a division because he knows that his people don't exist down there. And where white people exist, for whatever reason, we all know, but wherever they exist, there's always problems. There's always a divide. There's always a suffering of someone with darker skin, or suffering of someone from a different culture. That's always the case. So he wanted to hear that there was a problem in a place where he did not exist or his people didn't exist, so that they wouldn't feel so bad or feel guilty about being terrorists, domestic terrorists, wherever the fuck they go. Because when you go to certain places in the South, even certain places in the North, or going further north, where there's just white and black people, there's this weird type of just energy in the air where black people gotta almost be on some yes ma'am, no ma'am type shit, no sir type shit. And they really believe that that's a form of respect. Black Southerners really believe, and some black people in other parts of the world where, again, there's a large white and black population, there's really nothing else. And when I say black, I'm talking about Black American population. A lot of black people in those types of areas, whether it's the north, the south, the east, they really think that, showing that type of respect to white people in order to keep them comfortable, that is a normal form of respect. They don't see that as, some type of racial degradation to them. You know what I'm saying? So in Miami, it's just completely different as far as the culture. And I just basically let his ass know, like, not really. I mean, people in Miami, different cultures stay in the area because there are different areas for different cultures. You have, like I said earlier, you got Little Havana with the Cuban flag. You got Little Dominican Republic. They got the Dominican flags painted on their walls. The Haitians got the Haitian flag painted in Little Haiti on their walls. And so it is what it is. Not to say that racism doesn't exist in Miami. There's a cultural divide for sure, because you can have a black Cuban and a white Cuban, and they both have that cultural connection, whereas a black American or a white Southerner doesn't have that connection with them, and they'll gang up. You know what I'm saying? And then you do have certain levels of racism in Miami, but it's not the type of racism in Miami as it is in other parts of the South or certain parts of the North and the East. It's just not. And so, anyways, getting back to the point, by them, the producers wanting to find a way to whitewash Miami and cause cultural division, that is what messed up the entire production of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Because you cannot subdue the reality of a city that's so culturally diverse. It's not going to work. Some things just can't work. You know what I'm saying? White people don't influence black people's mentalities like that down there. Now, keep in mind, we are still in a world where racism is just what it is, but the influence of white supremacy is not really deep in Dade County. You know what I'm saying? And South Beach is just not Miami. I mean, it is Miami, but I mean, it's not everyday Miami. You know, all that trying to dress up and be extra glamorous. I mean, you want to be cute, but you got to be real. Miami is a completely different place from these wannabe bougie ass cities. Miami is hood rich. That's how people get down in Dade County. Hood rich. All that bougie rich shit, you know what I'm saying? With that the love and hip hop Atlanta, they they got their little hood parts, but then they got their bourgeoisie type shit going on. And whatever other cast of love and hip hop. But Miami is a hood type of place. Like in Miami, we accept hood shit. Other people in other cities say, "Ugh, let me stay. I'm bad and bougie. I got it. Like I'm not, all that proper shit." That is not what Miami is known for, and that's the reason why a lot of people respect people from Dade County and South Florida, because we're bold, we're open, we talk shit, and that's just what it is. Our English down there, and when I say our, I'm not technically talking about myself or every person that's black in Miami or Hispanic or Haitian Dominican. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that we don't care about all that proper talking shit. If you look good, you look fly, then you in the dough. But the reality is, again, them trying to whitewash an environment that is not culturally accustomed to that, on a large scale, to put that on a big screen is just not going to work. You can try to whitewash South Beach all you want to, you know what I'm saying? But even them damn Cubans, regardless of how white they want to pass for, and they are, but, no matter how much they try to change that accent, it's still culturally not Anglo-white. I mean, from the music to the food, Dade County is not about no mayonnaise sandwiches. So that is the reason why Love and Hip Hop Miami just is not functioning properly. Because they're trying to change a culture of a city where the culture has been ingrained. And they've given so much power to cultural diversity in Dade County that you can't switch it up for the cameras. And I believe that's the reason why it took them so long to even create a Love and Hip Hop Miami, because they wanted someone who could balance everything out. And like I said earlier, they were looking for Trina based on her experience, with different culture, with white people, based on her being in the industry and making a certain level of money. They figured that she would be able to tone down the realness, so to speak, like she would be on code, put it like that. Because Trina's a hood motherfucker. But, as we've seen in her latter years, she's, she tries to bougie it up. But that's not Miami. And they tried to keep it somewhat authentic with Trick Daddy. But how can he be super authentic around a whole bunch of unauthentic, goofy ass motherfuckers? Like, it made his character look lame. Because he couldn't authentically be who he wanted to be. But it's just so much hiding that you could do. Like I said, they need to come out with a Love and Hip Hop with Geisha. Come out with a Love and Hip Hop with Sharice Lattimore, Laddie. Keep Trick. Y'all could keep Trina. Because, see, I think Trina's the type of person that she'll she changes regarding, in regards to her environment, which is nothing wrong with that. That's just being smart. So y'all get her around some real Dade County people that's not afraid to act Dade County. Trina gonna get Dade County. So you can keep her, keep Trick, add Geisha, add Laddie, add the chick Ladda, possibly, who was fighting with Laddie at the Section 8 office. And add a few more Miamians. Add Briscoe. Add some real Miami motherfuckers. And if y'all afraid of it being too hood, add a little bit of Miami folks that's getting some money. Like I said, Briscoe, he did the song with Snoop Dogg, and with the song where I'm living my best life and I ain't got time to fuck with you niggas. The whole thing is that people are afraid of showing black people in a non-subservient way. And black folks in Miami are just non-subservient. We don't have that yes a massa boss type shit. And we are very much so comfortable with the whole hood Miami dope boy, hood shit, hood chick, round away girl type mentality. White folks, and I'm sorry, it wasn't Briscoe, it's Ball Greasy who did the song Living My Best Life and That's My Bay and all that. It's Ball Greasy. But y'all can add Briscoe in there too. Add Iceberg. I mean, show some people that's really trying to come up. Y'all do it with New York. I love hip hop New York and Atlanta. Y'all show motherfuckers on there that people never even seen before. Put Mike Smith on there. But again, they're afraid of showing too many black people getting it and being authentically black and being hood with it. And not trying to change up how they talk and trying to act like some type of white male or female. Like, they ain't ready for that. So that's the reason why they tried to whitewash Love and Hip Hop Miami, which ultimately messed up the whole situation. And that's the truth. That is the true tea, y'all. So y'all can leave y'all comments. Let me know what y'all think. And let me know how y'all feel about this topic, because it's really real out here. Miami is not about white, Cuban, or Hispanic sachet shit. It's not that. Again, Love and Hip Hop Miami, for all other seasons, is predominantly black. I mean, when they first came out with the Love and Hip Hop New York, they tried to have this Hispanic theme going on. Like, almost everybody on there all the females were Hispanic. But can't nobody get down and be more, nobody is more interesting than black folks. So that quickly changed. Quickly changed. So, and like I said, that is the reason why they put Amara La Negra as the face, because they tried to keep black people interested, all the while making white people comfortable, because she was black, dark-skinned black at that, but yet and still she wasn't culturally black American, a black American Miamian. And she was still fighting to fit into a white culture, but one that was considered foreigner or foreign. A white Hispanic culture. Because let's keep it very real and honest. Yeah, colorism plays a part there as well. But it's no different than white and black, because you got white Hispanics and you got black Hispanics, and Amara La Negra is a black Hispanic. You got white people in America, you got black people in America. Everybody speak English, but there's also colorism as well. So Amara La Negra's situation is no different. And like I said, because there is not a lot of white people culturally in Dade County, they had to add or bring to the spotlight somebody who was able to appeal to the eyes of black people, which appeals to the mind as well. But also when she spoke, we as black people in America, black Americans in Miami, we don't relate to that, to what Amara La Negra was on. Other than colorism, maybe, okay, yeah. But as far as her whole situation, we don't relate to that. That is not what black women in Dade County be on. Period. Ask some girls like the city girls. That's real shit. That is real Miami. Hood chick, ghetto fabulous, and that's how it is. And I love my city. Shouts out to Miami-Dade County. I'm from down south Miami. Shouts out to Miami from up north to down south, all of Dade County. Shouts out to Richmond Heights, South Miami Heights, Liberty City, Coconut Grove, P. Ryan, Goose, Carroll City, Opelika, Homestead, Naranja, Nayranja, Chocolate City, Brown Subs, Little Havana, Little Haiti, Little Dominican Republic. Shouts out to all of that. I love the cultural diversity. And I realized that being from Miami, being black from a culturally diverse place, it helped me in other places. It helped me in other places. Because Miamians got a certain level of confidence. Black Miamians and Miamians in general, it's a certain level of confidence, yo, that we have. And I love that and I appreciate that, because when I moved to Georgia, I realized that there was, in certain parts, black people are very oppressed. And not in just how they live, but also their way of thinking about the system. In Miami, we say crackers like it ain't nothing. Cracker this, cracker that. And a lot of the times it's in reference to the police, but we'll say cracker in reference to somebody that's white or Hispanic, white Hispanic. And we don't think anything of it because we just don't have that type of fear down there. And again, white Caucasians don't exist down there like that. And I know some people gonna say, well, cracker meant this and this and that, so it's not really derogatory. Motherfucker, we ain't think about that shit. We just say what it is, and that's that. Keep it moving. But anyways, I'm about to be out. As always, leave your comments on the topic or what it is that I've spoken on or spoken about, my commentary. Leave a comment on that. And I'm out.